It's 2025. This video was inspired by another YouTuber who really just put himself out there, and I had other plans for what my first video was going to be for 2025, but then I saw his video and I related so much to it that I decided to literally do what he did. And he really just set intentions, and he really just gave his story. And so I feel like that's one thing that I have yet to do on this channel. And I don't feel like people know who I am, at least not on this platform. But I just want to talk about that. Let's just talk about that. So if you don't know me, I am Monet. My first name is Christian Monet. Monet's my middle name. And I started Monet Madness back in 2013, I believe. I've always had a love for drawing. I was definitely that art kid in class. You know that meme when it's like there's an art project due, or a project that has anything to do with drawing? I was the kid that everybody looked to do all that stuff. So I remember in middle school, I used to draw pictures for people, and I may have charged them $1 or traded them an ice cream cone or something. But it's always kind of been something that I loved doing. And I made comics when I was younger. I really need to get in touch with my mom because she has all of the things that I've ever created. And I remember, first of all, I never took my artistry like seriously until 2013. And I think it was because I was most likely going through something, and I remember feeling like I need to chase my passion. I need to do what makes me happy. And another thing that I do that is another huge part of my life and has been the most difficult thing to learn how to balance is dog grooming. Dog grooming is probably as much a part of me as art is. I would say art is just a little bit higher, not by much. I started dog grooming out of high school, so I've been doing it for a very, very long time. And my husband and I own our own dog grooming salon, so that's a huge part of me as well. But when it comes to art and drawing and creating, there is just a different level of care, or it kind of just hits me differently in my heart. And I remember at the time, 2013, I was going through something and I went to this school. I was definitely out of high school. I graduated in 2009. I'm 34 years old. Wait, I'm 33. I will be 34 in February. Look at me aging myself already. Anyways, I graduated in 2009, and I had already had a full-time job, basically my career. I worked at another dog grooming shop or whatever, and I just had, I don't know, I don't know which came first. Either I started drawing more and it just started to feel so good and I wanted to take that seriously. So I enrolled in this college. I'm laughing because I know, similarly to the guy who made his video, the minute that I say the name of this, you're gonna get it. If you went to this college, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But I remember having this moment where I just felt so inspired, and I was like, I'm gonna do this. I don't care how much money it's gonna cost. I don't care. All of everything I want to put into this. I want to abandon all financial obligations and dump it into this. So I remember I got my very first drafting table, and this was what was really the pivotal point in my art career. I got this drafting table off of Craigslist or maybe Facebook Marketplace. But thinking back to that moment, I literally started with nothing. And if that Monet could see this Monet, I know she would be so proud. I know that she would just be like, girl, what the heck? I got that drafting table. I think I spent like $20 on it. But I remember when I got it, it just made everything just feel like, oh my gosh, you're actually doing this. I started posting on Instagram when Instagram was just amazing for artists. It's not, I don't want to say it's not anymore, but it's just, I don't know, it's not the same. But I enrolled in the Art Institute, and they didn't really have what I particularly wanted to do. I really just wanted to be an artist, and I didn't know like what that meant at the time. Artist, illustrator, graphic designer. I didn't know. It was like, so I just majored in the closest thing to it, which was graphic design. And I don't even think I did a full semester. I don't think I did a full semester because what ended up happening was I was only interested in the particular, like the art classes. That was the only, all of the other academic classes that you had to take. It just reminded me why I wasn't a huge fan of school. Like the way I learn, I've come now to realize that it's definitely a lot different. And so I didn't last at all at the Art Institute. I'm a college dropout. I'm a college dropout. And I remember even when I was in high school and our school did the college tours and everybody was like, oh my God, what college are you going to go to? I remember I told my mom, don't waste money on college because I'm not going to college. I'm going to be a dog groomer. I have my career. And I think she was with it. I said, Mom, like, I'm not going to college. And I do remember when I told her that I was enrolling into the Art Institute, and I'm pretty sure I called her on I just had this light bulb moment, mother, and I know what I want to do with myself, and it's going to be great, and I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And I'm sure she was rolling her eyes like, girl, okay. Anyways, so through the time that I was there, now while I will say that like it was a waste of money, I'm not going to lie. What I appreciated about my very short time there is that it put me in a space where I needed to be in order to begin to create. Anytime I stepped in that school, it did give me a sense of purpose. It gave me a sense of, I don't know, it gave me something that I needed though, because when I was at home, like after work and I would come home, I really didn't do anything with myself. And when I went to the Art Institute, maybe because I was surrounded by other students who were there to be creative, and especially like in my classes, it was easy to like fall into it. And so one of the very first things that I started doing, I started drawing people. I started doing portraits. And that might be something that everybody kind of does. It seems like there is a normal path people take when they want to become artists. And you kind of start with certain things when you're getting your feet wet, when you're learning how to draw. And we all go through those same stages until you get to a place where you begin to be more free in what you're creating because you have a really clear understanding of the fundamental stuff that you can just apply it in however way you want to. And so I remember I was creating portraits, and my Instagram at the time, before I started posting art, me and my best friend at the time, We used to post a lot of videos. I used to basically just post pictures of, like whatever. I was very social. And once I started like posting my art, and I was really getting a lot of good feedback from it, and it was just feeling so good to create and then get recognition for what I was doing. Monet Madness was born, and I remember when I was trying to think of what am I going to name my business, my entity, whatever I was going to go as, I really couldn't think of anything. And even today, I hate to say this, Monet Madness, the name was literally, this was my thought process at the time. Monet for me, and madness because your girl was a little all over the place back in those days. I may still be a little bit all over the place depending on who you ask. But Monet Madness was the thing. It was it. And so I changed my Instagram handle to Monet Madness, and I don't know if it happened then or later, but I made my own website. I got my domain, and Monet Madness was it. And I was started off doing portraits, and then I really just got into different mediums, marker. I think I did very few colored pencil, but when I go back through my Instagram and I look at those pictures, I would draw a lot of racy stuff, like a lot of inappropriate things. And at the time, I do remember feeling like, oh, art is expression. It is whatever you want to make it. And sexuality to me at that time, which is probably the same for a lot of like 20-year-olds, like early 20s, you kind of just want to be you and just be free. And drawing, I drew a lot of naked people, and I think naked girls. And I think mainly because I really wasn't good at anatomy and I wasn't good at drawing clothes. So half the time my characters were women who it was just very nude. Like, I also have always been a bit of a naturalist. So nudity to me was something beautiful and natural. It's who you are, natural state of being, all of that. And so I really tried to depict the naked body in what I felt at the time was like a good way. I wouldn't say that I had much consistency in what I was creating. All I knew is whenever I felt like drawing something, whatever came to mind, my inspiration, like I drew it. And Pinterest was like the biggest thing that I was always on all the time because it just gave me so much inspiration. And once I started taking this seriously and I actually had a bit of a catalog of work, my memory escapes me. This is what happens when you get like mid-30s. Like you start forgetting stuff. But I don't remember what happened first, but I remember that I attended my first ever art show. It was Raw Artists. That was the show. That was the name of the the show company was Raw Artists. And I remember when I saw, I don't know if they reached out to me or if I saw that they were like looking for artists for an upcoming show, but I submitted my work and I got accepted. And I remember that feeling was like amazing. I was so happy and I really felt like a real artist. And either right before that or shortly thereafter, I had opened up. Oh, no. I'm sorry, y'all. So before I made my website, I had an Etsy shop. The Etsy shop was first because And I'm pretty sure I can find that picture when I made my very first sale. The very first thing that I ever made money on when it came to my art. And I sold my very first piece of artwork on Etsy. And then I wasn't happy with like the fees and all this stuff that Etsy was charging. And so I was like, why don't I just make my own website? And so then I made my own website. And so fast forward to the art show, that moment for me, it just felt so amazing. And from there, I really just continued to get better at my craft. And I really just drew a lot of traditional art. And then watercolor was my most favorite thing. Even now, I feel like watercolor is probably the medium that in so many ways suits me as an artist, just because of how fluid it is, and it's kind of hard to control, and you kind of got to see the beauty in what happens with it. And so I used to do a lot of watercolor pieces, and I remember also like I started, using acrylic, and I started making art on canvases and things like that. And my studio, if you will, really just expanded over the years. I even started doing oil paintings at one point, and I really feel like if I stuck to it, and I think this is kind of like a part of like why I wanted to talk about this, because I'm 33 years old, and there was a huge amount of time from 2018 to about 2020, really up until 2023, if I'm being honest with myself, where art was just really put on the back burner. And between me having more children, I can see how obviously priorities change and things like that. But when I think back to how active I was, how like I was after it, man. And when I think about if I had that same passion and drive that I did then and like kept it up, where would I be in my art career like right now? I'm 33 years old, and I am literally about to embark on a whole relearning journey, because I can't even open a sketchbook now and draw from imagination. I am literally so removed from all of my flow that I can really just see, like looking through my old sketchbooks, I really see a level of consistency and like a style. And I remember for so long, and I think that's what every artist is after, like, oh, how to find your art style, how to, really just show up in the world as yourself creatively. And so when I look back on my past work, I see that I had it. I had it. And then I just dropped it. And now I can't create like I used to save my life. And in so many ways, I've made peace with that, because that's life and things happen. But I can't sit here and say that I don't have regrets. And so 2025 for me hits a little differently, because I feel that fire kind of coming back. And it's like, I've accepted I'm not where I used to be. My whole art space studio is probably the most advanced. It's not probably, it is the most advanced that I've ever had, because I got older, I had a great paying job, and I had money to invest. And it's like now what I'm lacking is the skill, and I've spent so much time, oh, I need to buy that, oh, I need to buy that, oh, I need to buy that. And then I just sit here wondering like, oh my gosh, I have all this stuff. Why can't I create? And it's really because I focus so much on maybe my past ability, and I gotta get really down on myself. And there's definitely a level of imposter syndrome, which I'm sure everybody deals with at some point or another. But I really felt like I was so on, like I was on the right track, and I just fell off, literally fell off. Instagram, I used to have an amazing like art community. I remember I could post something, I could literally post a work in progress, and I would get so much feedback. I could create so much conversation about it. And now it's like I can work on something for 4 hours and it's beautiful, illustrated, full rendered, all of that stuff, and I post it and I get little to no engagement. And so granted, I understand that that might not have anything to do with me personally, but rather just the social media platform itself. But it's very discouraging. It's very like it just dampens something. And this year, I told myself that I want to put my nose to the ground and really rebuild my art. And I've been on and off for the past oh my Lord, 5 years, 4 years. This year will be 5 years. If I don't do what I say I'm going to do now, no, it's been about 5 years. 2018. Anyways, if I don't do what I say I'm going to do this year, it will just be more time wasted. And I've been on and off trying to take my art education seriously. I've probably spent way more money than I would even want to admit to on subscribing to art education platforms, videos, you know, but I just never dedicate the time to learn and really put it into practice. And I'm like, even like now I'm looking at my freaking bookcase. I have so many sketchbooks because I just struggle to fill them up, but I buy them because it feels good to me. And I'm just looking at all this unused resource, and I just want this year to be different. And I'm actually kind of doing this video too to like timestamp this because I know I'm going to come back and see this. Just like I went back and saw all the growth that I've actually made. Like I'm not going to sit here and just be, so hard on myself because life has really been lifing, but I've still managed to kind of pivot and just kind of make my way, back in it. And so here I am, 2025, like this year, like I've been taking my YouTube more seriously. And honestly, and I don't even know if this video is going to do anything or like if people are going to see it. But at the very least, I know that I have some words to hold myself accountable to. And so here I am saying that this year I'm taking my art more seriously and I'm going to invest in my actual education. I'm going to put the time and energy into relearning who Monet Madness is. My brand, I've literally asked myself, what is this brand about? I don't know. I don't know. And that's the crazy part about it. After all these years, I should know. And I'm about to find out. We're about to find out. I have some things coming up that, as far as like videos, content, that I'm definitely going to do. But my immediate goals are to develop a consistent routine and get in the habit of drawing again, get in the habit of creating. Lord, I haven't picked up a paintbrush, God knows how long, like actually painting. I used to paint all the time. Oh my gosh. I used to paint all the time. And it was the most beautiful, blissful moments. Like I would literally lose myself. And I want that again. I want to be able to disappear in a canvas and once it's finished, reappear through whatever I just created. And I want to share that with the world because there are so many things that inspire me, people who inspire me. And I don't know about y'all, but I'm really feeling like we are losing humanity. We are losing community. And that's just something that, I don't know. But yeah, I kind of feel like I rambled, but I hope y'all get the point. This video is already about 30 minutes long, so Happy New Year, y'all. And let's see where we get to. All right, bye.